presentation and this wonderful speaking and I'm really enjoying this session. And as he mentioned about natural, I'm going to briefly touch upon the impact that some of the instances of characteristics of health. I'm an endocrinologist focusing on the treatment of diabetes patients. And as Professor Joe mentioned, like these days, aging population is steadily increasing. Among those many and various kinds of age-related diseases, I'm going to focus on the major possible diabetes and liver. And because aging is a kind of potential risk factor for diabetes, so as you can see from the Korean diabetes among aging over 65, there are 1 out of 103 people with elderly population have already diabetes. And you can see on the right graph showing that there is a linear correlation between aging and linear people actually and also among diabetes patients, especially elderly population, have higher risk of hypoglycemia, which is an opposite phenomenon in diabetes. As you can see, there are risk factors for hypoglycemia, which is a low glucose level, and aging is one of the risk factors. And actually, my research team is focusing on the translation research on metabolic disease, and recently, as you know, the nomenclature has been changed from non-alcoholic metabolic disease to metabolic dysfunction associated status liver disease or massive disease. And as you can see in this figure, diabetes has huge impact on the development of steatohepatitis, which is a severe form of muscle disease. So recent guidelines from the European guidelines, you can see the importance is the presence of the risk. So there is a tight link between the diabetes and diabetes. So aging and muscle evil can increase the risk of diabetes. As you can see, age and diabetes have closely linked with each other, and also aging is a higher risk factor. And also recently, our clinical research team has demonstrated that if patients have muscle evil mass, they are likely to have risk of hypoglycemia and diabetes. So those three phenomena are actually interrelated. So maybe we want to focus whether this kind of complex relationship is related to as you can see, because our team is harvesting human liver core samples from the surgery or biopsy procedure. And you can see from the left table showing that one of the highest gene markers correlated with age is the correlation between age and hemoglobin. Also, GLP-1, which is the related senescence marker to the glycogen, also highly correlated with age and GLP-1. And according to this right panel data, we adopted several senescence-related several defects, and senescence-related defects are highly used in severe MASH patients according to this data. And also, we want to expand our findings to the publicly available iron liver data set. As you can see from there's maximum between several between P16 and P53. And also, very similar pattern was component senescence-related genes are highly enriched in the severe fibrosis MASH patients compared to benign neurotransmitters. And also, previously recently published in Nature metabolism that according to this data, more severe MASH patients has higher expression of P21 or P16 in the liver of human cells. So we found that there is a significant correlation between age and senescence markers in the human liver cell. one museum of the role of cell synthesis on hepatic gluconeogenesis. As you can see from the figure, there is 4 pathways related to hepatic glucose production, which is gluconeogenesis and glycogenolysis, which can increase the glucose from the blood, and also glycogenesis, which produces glycogen, and also glycolysis. Those 2 pathways are using glucose from the liver. So briefly, you can memorize those 2 enzymes which regulate the gluconeogenesis, PCSK1 and G6PD, which elevation of these 2 enzymes means you can produce glucose from the liver by inducing gluconeogenesis. So when we check the old versus young mice from the liver, we can see higher expression of SA-beta from the liver. And also when we check the gene expression related to gluconeogenesis, we can see higher expression of PCSK2 as well as senescence markers such as kinase 16. So you can see increased gluconeogenesis markers in the old liver mice model. So as other professors nicely mentioned about the role of senescence, I'm not going to talk in detail. As you can see, many stimuli can induce cell diseases such as oxidative, oxidative stress, or anabolic mitochondrial stress. So we want to look at establish the senescent in vitro hepatocytes using different senescence inducers, such as proteoleucine, antimycin, which can be used mitochondrial dysfunction, and H2 oxidative stress, which lead to senescent hepatocytes. So we confirm that after using this various kind of senescent inducers, SA-beta upregulated is now regulated. And when you look at the gluconeogenesis and glucose production from this senescent hepatocyte, you can see regardless of the senescent stimuli, you can see higher expression of gluconeogenesis enzymes as well as glucose production from the cell. So then we want to look at what's the mechanism of dysregulation by the senescent hepatocytes. So we conducted capsid and RNA-seq from these senescent hepatocytes to look at whether we can find the upregulated key regulator of these metabolic dysregulation. So after using this kind of experiment, we conducted multiple analysis, and you can see compared to control, there is, even though they have very similar senescent hepatocyte phenotypes, depending on the senescent stimuli, there are quite different phenotypes versus antimycin-induced mitochondrial dysfunction versus DNA-damaged senescent hepatocyte. You can see 4 distinct patterns of genes regulated by different stimuli. And for example, when you look at the axis data shown here, after using an inflammation for reducing senescent hepatocyte, there is an open crowded region of the P21 and also open crowded region of PCSK1, previous nutrients. So then we further investigated which will be the indicative candidate for controlling gluconeogenesis senescent hepatocyte, and you can see there is kind of related gluconeogenesis related among those candidates, we focus first on the FOXO family because FOXO1 is considered as the natural regulator of gluconeogenesis. But you can see only FOXO3 were interested in hepatocyte, not other candidates. And you can see the open crown division in the lower region after induction of senescent hepatocyte. And also the targets were all regulated. So we modulated the first we confirmed that regardless of senescent stimuli, FOXO3 nuclear FOXO3 increased. So when we knock down OPC in this you can see the expression is diminished after using the OPC transcription factor. And then we also look at the SRBP1C, which is the repressor of SK1. Because previously, 4 years ago, our journal came from Commonwealth University, nicely expressed this data. SRBP1C and senescent marker were inversely correlated in ethical species. So we also confirmed those similar findings from the liver. You can see nice inverse correlation between SRBP1C versus aging. So because SRBP can repress the SK expression, so maybe we can adapt this can be a regulatory mechanism of these findings. So also we confirm that decreased SRBP expression in the senescent liver in the mouse model and hepatocytes model. And also when we overexpress SRBP1C in those models that the expression or value indicating that SRBP1C is also involved in this kind of mechanism. And then we focus on glucagon glycogen pathway because glycogen is very important regulator for the increase in glucose levels from the liver. And you can see it's a little bit complicated, but glycogen synthesis is important for making glycogen from glucose. And also, glycogen phosphorylase is important for the degradation of glycogen. So these two enzymes are important, and there is a very distinct pattern versus aging. Aging can increase the glycogen phosphorylase, but inversely correlate with aging and glycogen synthesis. So we also confirmed from the liver mice model and the in vitro hepatocytes that glycogen synthesis enzymes are decreased in both liver and hepatocyte models. And when we use total early senescent mouse model, we can also see the higher expression of senescent markers and also decrease glycogen concentration in the liver. And you can see we have a indicating consistent with the parameters that I showed you. And also, there is a pathway effect of senescent and hepatocyte on gluconeogenesis because only less than 10% of hepatocytes in the liver can become senescent. So maybe 10% or less than 20% is not that marginal effect the glucose metabolism. So maybe we can think of senescent hepatocytes can affect non-senescent hepatocytes. So we collected senescent cell culture media from the hepatocyte induced by the senescent steroid, and then treated those culture media to the non-senescent hepatocytes. And you can see after conducting Western blot here, when we treat those senescent hepatocytes using media, then we can see the higher expression of senescent markers as well as glycogen gluconeogenesis related genes also upregulated, which indicates there is a possible role of paracrine effects. So to conclude the first part, we can see after establishing a senescent hepatocyte, there is a higher expression of phospho-3 and down-regulation of SRBP1C, which can lead to the expression of gluconeogenesis enzymes. Lastly, I'm going to briefly touch upon the impact of cellular senescence on hypoglycemia. As you can see, after induction of hypoglycemia, many hormonal changes occur, and we mainly focus on glucose, which is an important hormone to operate glucose from the brain. So there is a glucose pathway which needs phosphorylated. So when we treat phosphorylated to the senescent hepatocyte, we can see there is no glucose regulation. You can see the normal hepatocytes can increase glucose, but not in the senescent hepatocyte. Consistent with the expression regulation of SK in this. So we can see the glucagon pathway is impaired. And also, phospho-3 were involved in this pathway. When we knock down the pain overexpression was diminished, and the focus expression regulation by the corticosteroid were restored, but not in the SRBP1C pathway. So we also confirmed this finding from the sensory microphone, the conducted the corticosteroid treatment, and we see the various kinds of factors, and consistently after corticosteroid treatment or corticosteroid treatment in that regulate the corticosteroid. Lastly, we wanted to look at the potential candidates regulating this glucose theory. So we searched from the chemical library and we selected one of the chemicals from here. We can reduce senescence instability process. And also, we can show the benefits of preventing hyperglycemia in this senescence isolate. So to conclude, this is a little complicated, but senescent hepatocyte can induce gluconeogenesis and induce glycogenolysis, which can increase the diabetes. But in the condition of hypoglycemia, we cannot regulate the glucose production efficiently on the senescent hepatocyte. Thanks for your attention, and I'd like to thank my diabetes and one. Thank you.
这好放，太冷了我，这个久坐我真的冻死了。